What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Arrow Season 5, Episode 1, Legacy. Um, I am probably looking forward to this show the least out of the four DC CW shows, solely because the past few seasons have really taken a downturn. I thought Season 3 was fairly boring for the most part. Some of it was okay. The stuff with the League of Assassins was pretty interesting at times. Season 4, I felt like was probably the worst season overall, solely because you have two completely separate stories going on. You've got the main story and then you've got the flashbacks. And it was the first season that it did not connect at all. There's no connection to it. There's no, oh, so he's going through this in this one episode and he's going through this in this other episode. Like season 2, when Slade got introduced, and whenever we saw Slade in the flashbacks, then we saw him in real life, it all connected so well. I was just like, really, why couldn't we do that again? Why couldn't we do something similar? Even then, when you go back to season 1, it didn't necessarily connect through characters, but it connected through other means. Like there's a moment where he's going through some sort of morality choice, and he's had to go through the same morality choice before when he was on Lian Yu. Season 3 had some of that too, but not as much. And then Season 4 was just like, screw it. There's no connection at all. He's on Lian Yu. In fact, okay, there was a little bit of a connection because of the idol. Damien Dark had the same idol. But that was the only connection. The rest of the season, completely no connection at all. Completely meaningless. On top of that, one of the downsides of the show is that it's such a serious and grim show that it's too serious and grim. Like Green Arrow, I don't know a whole lot about. I haven't seen a whole lot of cartoons about the Green Arrow. I'm not a comic book person, so I don't really know much about him. But from what I've seen, the little bit that I have seen in video games and on cartoon shows, he seemed very lighthearted, and this show just makes him so, oh, I gotta stop you. It's pretty much Batman, is what it's been. It's been Batman, but he has a bow and arrow instead of just using a bunch of, and he kind of does have high-tech gadgets at times. But, honestly, that's been my biggest problem, is that it's been so serious and dark, and then you go over to The Flash, and everything's lighter. There's still emotional moments, but it's so joyous. It's so much fun to watch. This show is not that fun to watch most of the time. So, going into this season, that's kind of what my mindset is. It's like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know if they're going to make these changes to try to make it better. I don't know if they're going to stay grim and dark. I don't know what they're going to do. And honestly, I'm not sure if I'm looking forward to it. Like, if this past season was anything to go off of, I'm not excited for this new season. Based on the first episode, I see promise and I see a bunch of warnings. Like, I see the potential. I see where they're going with some of these storylines, but at the same time, I see some stuff that just really I'm not sure about. It's kind of worrying me. So let's start with the good stuff. First of all, the action is back up to what I remember in the first few seasons. Like, first season blew me away with the action. It was incredible to watch. It was like no action I'd seen before on a TV show, except for like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would be the only other comparison. Even that, the action is a bit more like superhero based. Daredevil is the only other show that I think tops the action, like the fighting action in Arrow in the first two seasons. Like, it felt so realistic. The hits felt real. It was brilliant to watch. And then it started, like, going downhill. I don't know where. I don't know how. But for some reason, the fights just started getting really mundane. They started getting like, oh, I don't feel like this fight is even really happening right now. I don't know what happened. I don't know what they started doing differently, but I don't remember. I remember the fights in the first two seasons. I remember thinking, these are incredible. I want more of this. And honestly, that's really what got my attention the most in the first two seasons. Season 3 started dropping off. Season 4, I hardly, the fights with Damien Dark just felt so unrealistic, really, most of the time. Like, it felt like neither of them were doing any damage to the other for the most part. It was just kind of like I'm watching two guys that can't get hurt fight each other. It felt very dull. The first fight that they have in this episode got me so excited. Like, it felt so much better. There's so many clever little things that they throw in, like they're fighting behind a wall and you see their shadows fighting, and then all of a sudden they're fighting out in front of it, and it's just like, this is so much fun to watch. And then all of a sudden, like, one of them, I can't remember who picked up who, but one of them, like, picked them up and slammed them into the ground, and it was a weak floor, so it broke through, and the camera, like, was up there, and then all of a sudden it's watching him down below. Like, it looked like it just went straight through the floor. It was a brilliant fight, and most of the fighting stayed about on par with that. It stayed very good. It stayed very action-packed. It felt real. The only one that I think kind of got on my nerves a little bit was the fight in the helicopter, which that whole final scene where he shoots the arrow into the bottom of the helicopter, maybe a little bit improbable, but I'll go with it. It's okay. I don't know how he knew the helicopter was going to be there, but whatever. I'll let it slide. The fight inside the helicopter, you could barely really tell what was going on. It was very shaky in that fight. But the rest of the fighting, really good, really fun to watch. I mean, I can pick out most of the fights that I remember. I remember the beginning one. I remember the fight with what's his name? The cop. The dirty cop that was working for Church. Whenever he's tied up in the chair, and then all of a sudden he's not tied up in the chair. I thought that was really awesome. And then all of a sudden their fight, and it just really good, breaks the guy's neck. The fight in the first fight in the flashback, wherever he's like taking on the big guy, he's like holding him, and all of a sudden breaks his neck. Just so much more realistic and felt better. It felt really, really good. I'm just like, yes, I want more of this. Like, fighting is not the entire thing. The action should not be the only reason that you watch the show, but it is a big part of it, and if you don't get the action right, it can really go downhill, and I feel like that was my biggest problem with Season 4. The action didn't work as well. And so when you don't have the action working for you, it's not going to feel as good. It's not going to be as interesting to watch. So, really good start to the action. The other thing that I really like is I do enjoy some of where the story is going. And honestly, for me to talk about the story, I also have to talk about the things I don't like as well. So, what do I like? What do I not like? What I do like is I like some of the characters' motivations right now. I think Captain Lance coming back, now he's just Quentin Lance, I feel like the motivation he has is very real. I can see where he's coming from. I understand his reasoning. I feel like I can really relate to him, not necessarily in that I've lost my daughter because I don't have a daughter, but I feel like I can relate to his choice. I can understand his choice. It's very human, whereas some of the choices that the characters have made in the past couple seasons have been completely unrealistic and stupid at times. And I felt like, why would you make that choice? That doesn't make any sense why you would decide to do that. Most of them coming from Felicity. But anyway, it felt really real. It felt like, yeah, he's trying to move on. He's finally found, he tried to go live with his former ex-wife, then former wife, then former ex. Anyway, he tried to go live with Laurel and Sarah's mom. Didn't work out, so now he's come back. He's trying to move on without Laurel. And at first he felt like, there's no reason for me to do anything. I'm just going to sit at home and drink. And then he listens to Oliver's speech about, Laurel and what it means to the community and what they're going to try to do to honor her legacy. And he feels like, I need to get back into this. I'm just like, yeah, I can understand that. It makes sense. Thea's reasoning for not wanting to fight makes sense. The only thing that I had a little bit of a problem with her is that the explanation was maybe a bit too hasty. Like, it felt like they were trying to fit in so much story into this first episode that some of the explanations were a bit rushed. 1 second she's talking to Quentin about stuff, and then the next thing they're talking about Laurel and talking about how she used to be a killer and now she needs to fight, and then now she's talking about this, and it just felt like a lot of the explanations were really, really rushed. It felt like you needed to slow down a little bit. And some of that, like I said, they're trying to fit in a lot of story, a lot of character development into this first episode. So I do understand it. It's just, I don't know, I wish they explained a little bit less with words and maybe a little bit more with emotions and how they react to certain situations. But yeah, I mean, she for the first time, she feels like I'm no longer Speedy. I'm no longer the killer that my father made me to be. I get it. It makes sense again. It makes sense that she doesn't want to go back to that because she's finally found herself a normal life for the moment. So, totally understand why she's not coming back. John, they didn't really explain very well. Diggle, whatever you want to call him. They didn't explain his motivations as well. I know he's with. I can't remember her name right now. His wife. I remember that he's with her. It looked like he was over like in military stuff. I don't know if they're doing stuff overseas for the military. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they explained it and I missed it, but I don't really understand his motivations. I don't understand why he doesn't want to come back. But they want to create a new team, so Diggle can't come back. Just wish they'd explained that one a bit more, because if they'd explained that one, I would probably be more okay with the new team, because honestly, and I said this in my review of the previews, I don't like the fact that they're doing this new team thing. It's just like, really, we're going to go through that storyline where he's got to train them? Like, we already went through this. This is season 5, and we're going back to season 2 where he was training people. I don't want to have to watch this again. And I don't want them to rush through it either. I don't want to... That's the thing. I don't want this at all. I don't want him to have to train a whole new team. And he's going to have to train Curtis. He's going to have to train Wild Dog. He's going to have to train Evelyn. I think there was another one they were talking about that had ski masks or whatever. No, wait. Yeah. I can't remember it all. But, who really wants to see that all over again? Unless there's some sort of point to the story where it's like, I can't even think of a good reason why it would fit into the story. It seems unnecessary. It seems like they didn't want to bring Diggle back. They don't have Laurel anymore. It feels like they're just trying to, fresh new blood to inject into the season and try to make it more new and fresh and younger, and I don't know. I can't really fully explain why I don't like it, but my main problem is just, I guess because I've seen it all before, I don't want to have to see it again. It feels like a rehash storyline. Maybe they'll do it well, but for right now, I don't like that. The other thing that I'm not really sure about is the whole Oliver being mayor thing. I didn't know how I felt about it whenever it happened at the end of last season, and I still don't really know how I feel about it because, really, do we really want to go through this whole, he's mayor, but he's also Green Arrow at the same time? Like, it made more sense whenever he was a playboy billionaire who only ran a club and that was his only thing. Because then it was like, he's got plenty of time to be Green Arrow. It doesn't feel like he has time to be Green Arrow right now. Like, is he really going to be able to get rid of the security guards every single night? Is he really going to be able to go out and do his Green Arrow thing every single night without anybody asking questions? Probably not. Like, it made more sense whenever he was just a playboy millionaire because people are like, he's probably sleeping around right now. But now that he's mayor, that excuse doesn't fly anymore. And whenever the captain of the police asked Thea about it, I'm just like, really? That's just okay? The mayor is missing this event right now because he's with some woman, right? Come on. Like, that just seems very unrealistic to me. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe he'll stop being mayor soon, but it doesn't feel like this is going to work. It doesn't feel like they're going to be able to come up with a suitable explanation every single episode. I don't see it working out very well. The final thing that I'm kind of worried about is this new villain. It feels like kind of a step down. We've had the past 2 seasons. Actually, you really think about it. The first season was Malcolm Merlyn, Black Arrow. Pretty much Oliver, but better. The second season was Slade, a superhuman soldier that is, like, pretty much unstoppable to beat. Ra's al Ghul in the League of Assassins, that's huge. Damien Dark, who's pretty much a wizard. And now we've got Tobias Church, a guy who comes in, takes over the gangs. That's it. That feels like a huge step down. Like, I don't necessarily want it to be like Oliver goes up against some superhuman every single season from now on. I don't want it to be where it's like, we had Damien Dark last season, let's have somebody else that's now even more powerful than Damien Dark. I don't necessarily want that. It's fine if you go for somebody a little bit less powerful, but to have it be just some guy who takes over for the gangs. So now he's got all the gangs working under him, and that's it. It's like, so? It feels like Oliver could just go in and start taking out the gangs bit by bit until they're done, unless they somehow keep recruiting over and over and over again. It just doesn't feel like he's as much of a threat. Maybe if he starts attacking the city, I don't know what his huge plan is, but it feels like his plan is just, I want to kill Green Arrow, and I want to take over the gangs while doing it. If that's his only plan, so what? If he tries to attack the city, just take him out. And honestly, Oliver's kind of back to killing a little bit again. After what happened with Damien Dark, he feels like killing is an option again. And while I understand his reasoning and understand Thea's reasoning, I feel like if that truly is how he feels, this guy should already be dead. Like you had the chance to kill him, and you didn't. So I don't really know if killing is completely on the table anymore. But I don't know. It's just the main villain for the season doesn't feel like he's as important, that he is as big a bad guy as I want him to be. It feels like it's even a step down from Black Arrow, because at least Black Arrow was a politician who had a lot of power and had a plan to destroy, half of the city. That's kind of a big deal. That's kind of something that you want to stop. This guy just feels like, oh, I want to rule the gangs. It's like, so what? The gangs are still there. They're still a problem, even if he's not stepping in to lead them. What does him stepping in have anything to do with that? So, I don't know. Maybe they'll somehow find a way to up his threat later on, but right now he feels like a very weak villain to me. And on top of that, there's a few little things here and there that just I need to talk about. One, an editing mistake. There was a moment where, we have a scene, Oliver, his flashbacks are doing pretty well right now. He's in Russia with Anatoly, his Russian friend, and wants to take down this Russian guy that the lady from the last season told him to take down. I can't really remember much about it, but anyway, he's with him. Anatoly gives him this Russian phrase. He's talking to Quentin about that same Russian phrase. At the end of that scene, there was somebody walking in the background, and they did not take it out. I saw it. I'm pretty sure most people saw it. And it was, you can't just explain it away like, oh, it may have been just a bystander. Why would there be anybody there at that time of night? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So anyway, just a little mistake there. They killed off Frank Bertinelli? Okay. Really? One of the big storylines over the past few seasons is that Huntress has popped up at least once trying to kill him, and now he's dead. So what does that mean for her? Like, you could have killed off any other mobster, any other gang leader. You kill off Frank Bertinelli, who has a tie to another character who wants him dead, and now he's dead, but not by her hand. That was not a smart move. Unless I'm thinking of somebody else. He did say Mr. Bertinelli, so that is her father, right? Unless she has an uncle I don't know about, or an older brother. Anyway, I thought that was very out of nowhere, and just like, really, we're just going to kill him off, no questions asked, and I guess Huntress is off the show forever? Who knows? The final thing to talk about is that scene with Laurel and Oliver in the hospital. Because I'm really kind of pissed about it whenever I finally found out. Pretty much last season, right before Laurel died, at the end, near the end of that episode, there was a moment where she said, Oliver, I want you to promise me something because I don't know what's going to happen after tonight. And then it went out of the room like she was saying something secret. I'm just like, what did she say? Like, did she tell him to help her fake her death so that she could get away from Damien Dark? Is that what's going on right now? Like, what did she say? It felt like it was going to be something big. And then they never revealed what she said. And it looked like she actually did die. And I was just like, so what did she say? Finally found out tonight. She said she didn't want to be the last canary. She wanted Oliver to find somebody to take her place. Really. All that secrecy, all of that build-up, for her just to say, get somebody to replace me if I don't make it. Why? Why make it seem like it's such a big secret? Like, I understand in the terms of the story how it fits into this episode, because talking about getting a new team together, but why keep that a secret from us? Like, so you can surprise us with that big reveal? Oh, why does he want the team? Because Laurel told him to make a new team. I never saw that coming. Holy crap. Holy crap, that changes everything. Laurel wanted him to make a new team. Holy shit. I'm amazed. No. F you, because I'm trying to keep it semi-clean on this channel. But seriously, I mean, what is the whole point of keeping that a big secret? Like, you made me think that maybe it was she wanted him to help her fake her death. You made me think that something secretive was going on. Maybe she has something we don't even know about. Maybe there's some sort of secret that she has hidden somewhere. No, she just wanted Oliver to make her a new team. Who knows why they... I have no freaking clue why they kept that a secret from us. And I'm pissed off about it. Because I was expecting something huge. I was expecting this big reveal. And that's all it was. And maybe I'm the only one. Maybe everybody else is just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what she said to him. Okay. If I'm the only one that thought that was going to be some big reveal, please let me know in the comments. But I really thought that was going to be huge. It was going to be mind-blowing reveal just for it to be, oh, I don't want to be the last canary. So I'm frustrated about that. It was probably my biggest gripe of the entire episode. The rest of it, you know, like I said, they're worrying signs, but not necessarily something that they can't fix. You know, the new team, they could do it well. The new guy, bad guy, he could actually be a bigger threat than I'm expecting. Maybe he has connections I don't know about. But overall, you know, it was an okay episode. Compared to last season, it's better. That one scene, while frustrating with Laurel, it's very frustrating, but then again, I'm more frustrated with last season because it happened last season. So I'm really not putting it on this episode at all. This episode overall was good. It was entertaining, the action was good, the storyline's okay for right now. So I am looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with this season. I'm half and half. I've got good stuff, I've got bad stuff, and then that one thing just... Anyway, those are my thoughts on this episode. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What do you want to see them do this season? What do you want to see them not do this season? Let me know. We can talk about all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future error reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.